Hi everybody and welcome back to the Stitch and Purl YouTube channel. My name is Rachel and I am a knitter and a sewist. Hi everyone, so it's so lovely to have you guys here. We've got some new faces who subscribed recently, so welcome. It's so lovely to have you. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I share lots of knitting and sewing content. I do, you know, sort of like makes videos and fabric hauls and knit and chats and the well, I say the odd vlog, but I've been vlogging quite a lot this year actually. I quite enjoy vlogging, like crafty vlogs. So yeah, it's really lovely to have you here. Today I thought I would do a knit and chat video because I haven't done one for a while. I've got my knitting here with me, which I will talk a little bit about. This is actually a new pattern that I've just started working on. I shared it a little bit on my Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram you may have seen it. It is a flat pattern. I designed flat, so I'm currently knitting up the back panel as we speak. So yeah, I design flat. For a while I was really worried about designing patterns that weren't in the round because I felt like that's all I was seeing on Instagram, and I thought, you know, oh, I really need to learn how to design those patterns. But I actually really enjoy knitting a mix of in the round patterns and a mix of like flat knitting patterns. Oh, sorry, my camera died, and now I have to remember what I was saying. I think I was saying something about designing flat. So basically I felt all this pressure to design in the round, and then it meant that I didn't actually want to design, which is funny because like I've been designing clothes for as long as I can remember. I've like always drawn clothes, and when I was younger I used to, like, you know, when you're like little, used to like dream of being a fashion designer, and I used to like design themed collections, so I'd get like, you know, really interested in, so like I remember once watching A Room with a View when I was like 13 or something, and I designed an entire like Edwardian inspired collection of clothes that like I drew out and stuff. So I've always wanted to design knitting patterns. It's always been something I wanted to have a go at. I just felt like I couldn't do it, or I didn't have the skills, or whatever it was. Anyway, I decided to have a go at designing flat patterns, and it's going really well. So I think I showed in my last video, if you watched that, the Nora cardigan, which is basically my first pattern, which is based on a vintage sweater pattern that I had that I wanted to make into a cardigan. And it's got lots of texture and bubbles and stuff. I'll pop up a picture so that you can see what I'm talking about. So that will be coming out hopefully by the end of this year, which I'm really excited about. It's made in a Longavec Anna merino yarn, so it's super soft, super warm, really cozy, and I have discovered that it goes with so an autumn dress that I made last year that has different coloured like autumn fruits and pumpkins and stuff on it. Some of the pumpkins are in the same, like literally almost the same shade as the cardigan, which wasn't intentional because it was going to be a spring cardigan. So I'm really pleased about that. And then another fabric that I bought, which is a William Morris print, has some like greeny tealy colour in it that goes really well with the cardigan, so I'll be wearing it loads this upcoming season with different dresses and stuff, so I can't wait for that. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's come out. So that's kind of like spurred me on to have a go at designing, just keep designing flat patterns. And I also saw as well on Threads, can't remember who it was, but she's got quite a big following. She's a knitwear designer and a knitting Instagrammer. And she posted on Threads saying that she put like unpopular opinion, I actually prefer knitting flat, and loads of people commented saying actually they feel the same, that they really like knitting flat and sewing up. As I say, I am happy to do either really. I enjoy both. I really don't have this issue that a lot of people seem to have with sewing up, like that really doesn't bother me. but like when I want to do something really simple and easy, it's always flat that I reach for, because I feel like that just feels, it's also so much easier to like take it with you, because you just work on a sleeve or a back or a front or whatever at a time, and so it's like not as heavy. And yeah, so I think if I want like a really easy project, I often go for knitting flat. So with all that in mind, that's like a massive introduction to what I'm knitting, what I'm currently working on. So I have really wanted a yellow cardigan in my wardrobe for the autumn season, because if you haven't guessed by now, if you're a new follower and you haven't been watching my videos, I love seasonal dressing. So I like to theme my outfits very much to the season, so I tend to change my colour palette. So, you know, in autumn I wear a lot of mustards and rust colours and deep purples and that kind of thing. And then as we go into winter, as we go into Christmas, I wear a lot of red, a lot of burgundy, a lot of green. And then as we're sort of transitioning, like January, it's like, you know, dark tones. And then as we get to February, I'm ready for spring, so I start wearing pastels. So even though it's cold, I will start wearing like pink jumpers and cardigans and, you know, like sage greens, mint greens, pale blues, that kind of thing. And then in the summer I wear lots of bright colours like orange and yellow and bright pink. So that's just me. That's just how I like to dress. That's just who I am. So I've been wanting a mustardy kind of yellow cardigan to go in my wardrobe for ages. Well, I thought I wanted mustard, and then I started looking at mustard yarns. Or, you know, there's lots of people that do a shade called mustard, and I realised actually mustard is a lot greener than I wanted. I would have called it chartreuse, but it's very like yellowy green coloured, most people's mustards. So I realised the colour I actually wanted was gold, which is what this colour is. So there's a lot of yarns that are gold. I think Drops has a yarn that everyone finds hilarious called like Golden Rod or something, really weird name. So anyway, I took all of my autumn fabrics, including like swatches from the dresses I made last year. So I've got like 5 new autumn fabrics this year to make lovely dresses with. I took them all into my local yarn shop, Fiberworks in Chipping Norton, and lovely Claire, who owns Fiberworks, helped me pick out a yarn that went. And I sort of discovered that I could basically, I was only going to manage to knit a yellow cardigan that would go with 3, just sort of ish, one of the other ones, 4 of the dresses out of 5. And I was like, you know what, that's fine, like it's not going to go with everything. And that's when I discovered that the Nora cardigan that I'd already knitted in that lovely like jadey, sagey, greeny colour actually goes really well with the one that didn't go with the yellow. So it was all fine in the end, all very positive. So yeah, I picked up this yarn, which is what I'm working with at the moment, to make a cardigan. I will just grab the yarn ball. Let me just finish this row. I'll just grab the yarn ball. Oh, also I should show you this. This is my little row counter that I just picked up off Amazon. It is like a tally counter, it's called, and it was like £6, and I look like I'm a mum at sports day, but honestly it's so useful because this is a 20 row repeat, and I normally I've for the last 5 years that I've been knitting, I keep a tally like physically written down in a notebook, and I have to sort of stop and open the notebook and write it down. This is like so much quicker, so that's my weird little like tip this video. Let me just, here we go, grab the yarn. So it is Lang Merino 120, which is a DK weight yarn. They are, I want to say, a Swedish brand. I think they're Swedish. So a Nordic brand. They are an ethical, no mulesing merino, and yeah, I mean, I've used them before. So this one is the Merino Extra Fine Superwash. As I say, it's a DK weight. I have used it before for another top, which actually didn't turn out how I wanted it, and I had to frog it, and I'm going to be making that into something else. But I've used the yarn before, and I know it's really lovely, really good quality. It's quite well priced as well. I think this was £6.25 a ball, and it's 120 meters, hence Merino 120. So that's quite good, 120 meters. As you can see, I'm hoping that's picking up like the right colour on the camera. It looks like it is. It's a really nice golden tone, really nice and soft. just, the colour is 311. So 311 if you want to know the exact shade. I don't think they have names, they just have numbers. So that is what I'm working on at the moment. I wanted to make myself a cropped cardigan to go with all these lovely dresses that I'm going to be making, and I wanted to go for my signature big sleeves. I have big sleeves on all my dresses and all my cardigans because it's so much easier if you have a sort of slightly bigger sleeve on your cardigan to get it, you know, otherwise if it's like tight, I find that the fabric, if you've got like a ruffle sleeve or a puff sleeve or something, it really like smushes underneath the cardigan, so I like to have bigger sleeves. So this is the back. I've just started shaping the armholes on it, and you can see it's just got this tiny little textural detail. So these are basically, they're called knots, I think the stitch pattern is, so they're not quite bubbles, they're sort of like half bubbles, and they make these little cute knots, so it just gives a little bit of texture to the pattern. It's mostly stocking stitch, and then like there's these little knots on it, and I'm really loving how this is looking. It's exactly what I wanted, a really easy project. I wanted to create basically a beginner's pattern so that you know, anybody who says to me like they want to learn to knit and they want to learn to knit a you know, cardigan, that I have got a beginner's pattern that I have created that I can point them towards. So as I say, it's knit flat, so it's all in pieces, it's going to be sewn up at the end, it's going to be very simple, mostly stocking stitch apart from that little knot detail, which is actually very, very easy to do, and I hope that it's going to be a really popular pattern, that people are going to like it. So leave me a comment and let me know what you think about my little cardigan pattern. This is going to be called the Hazel cardigan, by the way. So the first one, which I showed in my last video and that I've just shown a picture, is the Nora, and this is the Hazel. Basically, I have a list of names on my phone, which are names that I like, that I keep on my phone, because I am a writer. If you're new to this channel, that's one of the jobs that I do. I do multiple different things, as most freelance creatives do. But yeah, I am working on a novel at the moment, and I have a list of names that like I love, that, you know, maybe one day I might use for like a future child or something if I have a child. But I mostly just use them for characters in my novel, because my husband doesn't like most of the names that I like. So Hazel and Nora are on those lists, and other names as well, which I'm sure more designs will be named after at some point. But yes, all of my patterns I'm sort of giving like old-fashioned little names too, because I think that's really cute and that feels very me, because it's quite hard actually to like come up with a name for a pattern, you know, like you want to kind of encompass what it is. I thought about going with locations to begin with, like naming them after my favourite places. We live in the Cotswolds, it's very beautiful, so I could name them after really nice little villages and stuff, but then I just felt like the patterns weren't really like representative of like that place or that village, and I don't know, it then just got a bit, so I decided to just go with names because I just think that's quite cute. So yeah, this one is going to be the Hazel cardigan, and I'm hoping to knit it up quite quickly. It is currently the middle of August whilst I'm filming this, and I'm obviously now on to the sleeves, so I've probably got like another, I don't know, 15 centimeters to go, so I'm expecting to finish this in the next couple of days and then get started on like the fronts. I would really love it if I had it by the middle of September. We're going away for a weekend away to celebrate my father-in-law's 60th, and I'm making like a few nice outfits. We're having dinner every night and afternoon tea one of the days, so I've literally got like 2 outfits for every day, because I've got like a day outfit and then a dinner outfit. So it'd be nice to have the cardigan to go with some of the day outfits. So yeah, I am really pleased with how this is coming along. I thought I might show you as well and talk a little bit about some of the other projects that I have on the needles. Well, I only have one other project on the needle at the moment. On the needle? Just one needle on the needles at the moment, so I will show you that. And also maybe talk a little bit about my plans for the new season, my knitting plans, what I'm thinking about working on over the next few months. I'm like trying to strike a balance between designing my own things, especially like, you know, when I can't find exactly what I want, but also like I really do enjoy knitting other people's patterns. So the other one I'm going to show you is somebody else's pattern, and my husband really wants a jumper, so I tend to knit my husband basically one jumper a year. So last year I knit him a Rowan jumper that was gifted, which was really lovely, from Coil Studios, from their Mode at Rowan collection. They brought out their first ever men's patterns, so I knitted him that jumper. And then this year he's asked for a cable jumper, so I'm going to Yarndale in September, so I'm hoping to pick up some nice undyed sheepy woolly yarn to make him a cable knit sweater. Okay, so this is my other project I've just picked up. It is in my lovely Mood bag, which my parents-in-law got me for my birthday, which I absolutely love. All the skeins for this project plus the project are in here, and they all fit in, which is great. I've caked up the yarn. This is using my friend's yarn, my friend Vicky, who is from the Knitter's Cottage. Apologies for this lighting, by the way. It's just like the sun is going in and out of the clouds today. It's quite bright, but hopefully it's all right. So yeah, Vicky from Knitter's Cottage, she lives not far from me, and she produced this yarn from the wool from the sheep that live in the field basically next to my house. Like, I can basically see them from my house, which is really cool. So that was like super exciting to me to yeah, I found it in my local yarn shop in the Fiberworks first, and I was like, this is amazing. I got really excited, and I tagged her on Instagram and started following her, and then we started to get to like chatting, and now we like chat quite a lot and we're quite good friends, and which is really lovely. So yeah, her beautiful yarn is obviously 100% wool because it's from the sheep down the road, and it's just so lovely to work with, and I can tell this is going to make the coziest, loveliest, warmest cardigan ever. So this is the Jenny jacket by Petite Knit, which is, I'll just put this down, which is a really nice cardigan. Well, it's like a jacket. It's quite I can see now like why she's called it a jacket and stuff, like now that I'm making it, because it feels very like stiff, if that makes sense. Not stiff, but like structured. That's the word, structured. It's gonna like sit really nicely, so I'm really looking forward to that, because that's quite different to anything else I have in my wardrobe. I have a lot of like slouchy off-white cardigans, so this is undyed yarn, which I also love. But yeah, look at this. So it's smocking stitch, which is actually really easy to do. It is just knits and purls basically, but it makes this really incredible fabric. Obviously it looks like smocking, and it brings, sorry, I'm like picking, I always do this when I'm like got my knitting out, because it gets covered in dog hairs, especially like this, because it's very like obviously woolly, so it like captures the like fluff and dog hairs and stuff. But yeah, my dog is black, so there's just everywhere. Anyway, yeah, it's smocking stitch, and it has that kind of smocking effect. It's sort of like very like elasticated, which I really love. Therefore it does have a lot of stitches, a lot more stitches than you would normally have for a cardigan, because it's quite so it does take a little bit longer to work on. I've sort of put it to one side since I got my mustard yarn, because I really want that cardigan first. I'm a bit of a mono knitter. I normally just work on one project at a time. I'm not very good at having multiple on the go, so it's not like I'm sort of sometimes doing the Hazel and sometimes doing the Jenny jacket. I've literally put the Jenny jacket aside. I probably won't pick it up again until the Hazel is done. It's just how I like to knit. I don't know why. I'm the same with like books, you know, like other people will read like multiple books at the same time. Can't cope with that at all. I read one book, and when it's finished I read the next book. It's just like who I am. But yeah, I'm getting quite close now to splitting for the sleeves. It's a raglan sleeve, which is really nice, bottom up construction, which I've never actually done in the round. I've done flat, but I've never done in the round. I'm assuming it'll just be a case of like you split for the sleeves and you work the front and back separately, like you normally would. But yeah, I'm so excited for this. This is just going to be gorgeous. It's another dog hair. This is going to be gorgeous in the winter. We're going to Germany in December, and we're going to Scotland for Christmas, so it will be chilly, chilly, chilly. So having something this snuggy cozy will just be amazing. I know this is going to end up being like the thing I wear with everything, because obviously it's off-white, so it'll just go with literally everything in my wardrobe. I'm really excited to wear it. Like, I think it looks so cute with I have a couple of tartan dresses, and I've got some tartan fabric to make another one. I wear those a lot in December, January, so I'll have 3 tartan dresses to wear with this lovely cardigan, and they're all quite dark, so it's quite nice to wear it with like a brighter cardigan. So yeah, that's my other project on the needles, but I'm not currently knitting on it. You can see as well the lovely yarn from Vicky from Knitter's Cottage. It's just beautiful, really high quality. I think unfortunately she's out of stock now, because she obviously did like one shear and then turned all of that into yarn, but I'm pretty sure she said that she's going to make another batch of yarn from her own sheep. So the sheep she used last time were from Farm Ed, which is a regenerative farm down the road from me, and then she's got her own very small flock of sheep where she lives, and I think she said she's sheared them, I don't know the term, and is going to be making some more yarn, so that's really exciting. I can't wait to sort of like see some more of that. I'm hoping to chat to Vicky a bit more, maybe interview her for my Substack in the new year. I'm hoping to start producing some more articles. At the moment it's just a monthly newsletter situation, but in the new year I'm hoping to turn it into a bit more of a sort of like webzine, and release some more articles for paid for people who are like paid for subscribers to the Stitch and Pearl journal. So yeah, if you want to sort of learn more about that and know more about that, make sure you subscribe to my Substack. The link is in the description box, so that you are the first to hear about all of that stuff, because it will be in a newsletter at some point at the end of this year, hopefully. Okay, so let's talk about knitting plans for the new season. So when I say the new season, I mean autumn and Christmas. So those kind of mold into one for me, like autumn, Christmas, a little bit of winter, but yeah, I mostly just do autumn and Christmas knitting, and then I move into early spring, so I'll be, as I said earlier, knitting like jumpers and cardigans, but in really like real pastel tones to wear. So obviously I've got these 2 cardigans on the go, and that is something that I'm really trying to focus on at the moment. I felt like my wardrobe, I was getting a bit confused with my knitting, because I was just kind of knitting whatever I fancied, patterns that looked nice, and then I wasn't wearing them, or they didn't work in my wardrobe, etc. And I've really honed my style this year, which has made me feel a lot more confident and a lot better about myself, and I'm really pleased that I've managed to do that. So I basically realised that I just like to wear dresses. That's just who I am. I am a dress girl. I like to sew dresses. I like to wear dresses. That's just like my thing. That's my style. So I sort of figured out a way to be able to wear dresses all year round last year, because I bought a slip from Marks and Spencer's, which I now wear underneath my dresses, along with bamboo tights from Thought, so like eco-friendly bamboo tights and boots, and a big thick hand knitted cardigan and a big coat, so I can still wear dresses even in the winter. I mean, I never find like jeans that warm anyway. I find jeans freezing cold, to be honest. I always find that like they're not really a very thick layer against the wind and stuff, so I do prefer to wear dresses with, you know, big thick woolly tights and stuff. So yeah, I've really like sort of just been like, you know what, I don't really enjoy making other things. They don't really ever work for me or my wardrobe. I don't feel confident in them, whereas in dresses I feel really good about myself. So that's what I've decided, is I'm basically just going to keep making dresses. So to go with that, I therefore want knitwear that goes really well with said dresses. So most of the time that's a cardigan. That's what I wear, is a dress and a cardigan. Unless it's boiling hot, I'm always wearing a dress and a cardigan. So that is what I want to sort of focus on with my knitting, is working on cardigans. Hence this cardigan, the Jenny jacket, obviously the Nora cardigan. The other thing as well that I would like to wear, because I did this last year. If you watched my vlogs and stuff, you'll see that I was on Kirsty's Handmade Christmas last year on the Christmas jumper competition, and I made a little cropped like going out sweater to wear over the top of a Christmas dress, and I wore that to death last year, like basically every day once I was allowed to. I wasn't allowed to wear it until the show had aired on TV in the middle of December, but after that point I wore it like every day for 2 weeks. So that's the other thing I think I would really like to make, is a few cropped jumpers. So I've got cardigans to wear with dresses, but I've also got jumpers, especially on those days where it feels really cold and you just want to wear a cozy jumper over the top of the dress. So with that in mind, I'm making dresses that work with jumpers, so they've got like lower waist lines rather than I do a lot of sort of empire line dresses. So I'm doing some more like waisted dresses, and then crop jumpers. So the Nora cardigan I would really like to turn into a cropped jumper. Now the jumper that it was based on, the vintage jumper that it was based on, is not really a style that I particularly like for a jumper. It was very like baggy and oversized, and it just didn't really work. So I'm gonna basically take the stitch pattern, the very textured pattern that I have in my Nora cardigan, and I want to turn that, I'm just going to use that for a normal set-in sleeve cropped jumper. That is the plan. So I've got some alpaca soft DK that I frogged from another jumper that I never wore, that I got years and years and years ago, actually gifted to me. It's Rowan Alpaca Soft DK in, I think, off-white. So the plan is to make myself a Nora cardigan, and then at some point I will, not cardigan, a Nora sweater, a crop sweater, and at some point I will release the pattern for that. And then, as I mentioned, I also want to make my husband a jumper. He would like the Moby sweater, I think it's called, by Petite Knit, which is a lovely cable knit design. He wants a few alterations because he wants the neck to be higher. So he wants like a roll neck, which is fine. That should be fairly easy to do. So that is also on my list of things to make. And then the very exciting one, which I'm hoping to start fairly soon really, because I do need to get a wriggle on with this. I have a vintage knitting pattern for a dress from, I think it's the 1940s, for a knitted dress when they were very popular, and there are a lot of patterns for knitted dresses. And I have some absolutely gorgeous Rowan lace weight yarn in red. And it's knitted on 4.5mm needles because it's a lace pattern, and obviously it's going to need a slip because it'll basically be completely see-through because it's just like a big lace dress. But I am so excited to have a go at knitting a dress for the first time. Obviously 4.5mm needles isn't that tiny, so that's good. It's not going to be, you know, a really, really, really long knit, but at the same time it is a full dress. So the skirt goes in at the waist and then it goes out. So I think the skirt stitches at the end must be like 400 or 500 stitches or something, because it's an A-line dress. So it is going to take quite a while. So I do need to get on with that. And I think I would probably enjoy that if I worked on it in 2 separate pieces. So I do the top and then I do something else, and then I do the bottom and I do the skirt. So yeah, those are my sort of plans for the next season. So that dress is going to be like a Christmas dress that I wear a lot at Christmas. I'm not sure if I will get time to knit both the Moby sweater and the Nora sweater. So the Nora sweater may end up being a January project, which is fine. It might be like a Christmas project or something. And then I think sort of smattered into those is I've got a niece due in September, so I'm knitting her a few little bits. As I said, we've got a trip to Germany. I could really do with a new bobble hat. My husband could do with a new hat. I could do with some mittens, socks. So I think there's going to be a few little accessories in there, like hats, socks, mittens, baby cardigans, things like that. Like in between the bigger projects, which I find is nice to break that up, like especially like with the dress, to like work on the top and then make some mittens and then start working on the skirt kind of thing. But yeah, I'm super excited. Those are my plans for the next like 4 months, and I'm feeling really good that I'm quite like ahead with my knitting, because obviously I've got this one which I think is going to be like literally racing off the needles because I'm just so excited to get it done. So I've got the Hazel cardigan coming quite quickly, and then I think the Jenny jacket will be finished quite quickly as well after that. So yeah, I'm feeling really positive. I'd like to get to my Christmas dress by the end of September really, so that, as I say, I can have a bit of a break, because I'm probably not going to wear it until December. It's going to be like the dress that I wear on Christmas Day, I think. So yeah, I've got lots of time to work on that. But yeah, that's basically what I'm planning to do. So apart from the yarn, sorry, my camera just turned off, just turn it back on again. Apart from the yarn that I need to buy for my husband's Moby sweater, all the other yarn for all those things, actually not for my hat because I want to make a black hat, but for the Nora sweater, the baby cardigans, mittens, bobble hats, all those different things that I've just said, the Christmas dress, I already have all the yarn for those things, which is great because I'm trying really hard to do a bit of a like yarn stash busting session until the end of the year. So the only yarn I want to buy is the stuff for my husband's jumper. Everything else I already own, and I'm just going to do my best to work through it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm trying the same with my fabric as well. Trying not to buy any more fabric, trying to just work through what I have, because I have quite a lot of scraps left as well. So yeah, we'll see how that all goes. I don't know, like, are you guys the same as me, where like you really don't like having a big stash but you're also not great at like working through the stash? I don't know, I get a bit like, you know, you get sort of distracted, don't you? So I'm like trying to not take myself to places where I'll be tempted, like yarn shops and yarn festivals, going to Yarndale and then that's it, not going anywhere else. But yeah, I've done a few rows of my Hazel cardigan whilst we've been chatting, which is really, really nice. I'm now on a row where I need to do the knots, so I think I'm just going to stop there for now. I'll do some more on that later today. But yeah, it's looking really good. I'm really pleased with that. I love this gold colour. I can't wait to wear it. As I say, it's like literally the perfect shade for some of the fabrics I have. There's one fabric, I'll be doing an autumn fabric and yarn haul next week, so you can see more about all of that, but there's one fabric in particular that has little daisies on it, and the yellow in the middle is literally the same colour, so that just makes me really happy. So I hope you enjoyed watching my little knit and chat and me just letting you know all of my knitting plans and like updating you on what I'm knitting at the moment and what I'm making. I would love to hear from you guys what you're making, what your plans are for the next season. Are some of you starting on Christmas knitting? I don't really do gift knitting, that's not something that I enjoy, but I know a lot of people love doing that, so I wonder if some of you have started already on your gift knitting. Let me know in the comments below what you're working on, because I love to hear from you guys. Also make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any further videos, because there's lots of exciting things to come as always. Also make sure you're subscribed to my Substack below. I do a monthly newsletter which is a roundup of everything I've sewn, knit, what I've been reading, crafty podcasts and YouTube videos that I've been enjoying watching, what I've been up to, that kind of thing. And as I say, in the new year I will be launching a whole new section to my Substack as well, so make sure you're subscribed to that so you don't miss out. Follow along on my Instagram to see my makes. I always post on there first when something is finished, and I also post lots of like updates of making things, and I will also be posting on my Instagram very soon. I will be opening the test knit for the Nora cardigan, so if you're interested in test knitting for me, I would absolutely love that. So make sure you're following my Instagram so that you can see when the test knit becomes available. And that's it guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.